Let's do this. Jets, Patriots, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Let's talk to Ed. Let's see what he thinks about the current situation of the Jets, which is a mess, but intriguing and exciting nonetheless. Welcome back, everybody. The Jets saga continues, and it's definitely entertaining. It's interesting for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately. But we're in the, what are we in the first quarter of the season, I guess, or so?
Let's see. This is the 2-5, 7 games, 7-14, first third, more than a third of the way through.
Yeah. So I mean, it's getting interesting, and it's getting close to starting to count the losses where will we be in the playoffs or not. I mean, I am convincing myself that it is early in the season. But what we talked about before we started recording this was basically it's not just the fact that the Jets are losing, but it's how they're losing. You don't see that potential for them to start winning games on the steady, not yet anyway. What are your feelings on that, Dad?
Agree, Dave, but I'm a little more pessimistic than you. I'm about to hit the panic button. I mean, it's 2-5. I mean, came out of the gate strong on Sunday, right? 15-6 for a little bit, and then the bottom fell out of the boat. But you're right. There's the ends of the game. There's not even it's still the 4-game losing streak. It's just ugly. It's I mean, Pittsburgh was I mean, they were scratching their heads, right? They pulled Justin Fields and put in Russell Wilson that game. So there was a little controversy in Pittsburgh. You figured take advantage of that, but no. Russell Wilson did what he did.
I thought we had a good chance of Russell Wilson being a little rusty and not really too familiar, so it might be a good thing. And instead, listen.
Maybe 15-6 was the rust, and after that, he woke up, right?
The fact of the matter is, we're pretty realistic. I don't know if we've ever not been on the same page. It's good to not be on the same page for these discussions, but I mean, we've been pretty much spot on. We agreeing with a lot of things here. The fact of the matter is that the Jets beat the Patriots and the Titans, who I think combined have 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken. And the Titan victory was a struggle. So, yes. I mean, listen, I'm expecting the Jets to win again at New England by a decent amount of points, maybe 13 or so. But I think we're all going to agree, and hopefully the Jets do not even crack a smile on their face if they do beat the Patriots by a lot of points, because that's to be expected. We need to accomplish that and move forward and start stacking some wins. Your opinion there, Ed?
Just before we go to that day, yes, the 2 Jet victories, let's remind everyone, against the 1-6 Patriots and against the 1-5 Tennessee Titans, right? So, I mean, that's they're talking about 2 ugly teams, 2 wins, and as you pointed out, one of them was not a clean win. I mean, the New England game was clean, but other than that, we have 1 clean win in the season so far. I agree. They need to definitely have I just want to see everything function properly. The offense, the defense, especially. I just want to see a coherent effort on both sides of the ball. Give us something to look forward to, knowing that this is a game we should win, and then build on that, right? I mean,
right. That's what we need to happen. And, I mean, the problem is the Jets just don't look like they're, I don't know. I keep thinking it's going to happen. I try to believe it's going to happen, but they just do not look like they are ready. There are so many teams that are head and shoulders better than them. So, let's see what happens, right? We have Saleh gets fired. They play the Bills. First place on the line. We're going to see a change. They shook things up. Nothing happened. Then you get Davante Adams comes in. Right? Davante Adams is here. He's going to probably score 2 or 3 touchdowns. Motivation. They go to Pittsburgh. Nothing happens. Now we have Hassan Reddick. This is just such a bogus.
I think didn't they sign Hassan Reddick that morning of that game? So again, I think that Monday, I think they signed him with the Pittsburgh. They signed him the day of the game, didn't they? So it was good news into. It should have been good news going into that game.
You know what it is? Here's the problem. The problem is this game coming up is such it's nonsense to me, because first of all, if we lose the game, it's really going to be a problem. That's number one. But even if we win this game, it's almost like who cares, so what? Because I'm a Jet fan. We're expecting playoffs, and we're expecting to advance in the playoffs. And we got to see something going forward after this game that shows the Jets are ready to play playoff football.
Agreed.
Now, that being said, I did do a little homework and listened to a couple of press conferences today, and it was very interesting. Remember when we had Brett Favre on the team and he played injured and what he didn't play well?
Thought off strong, and then yeah, and he put it out. Yes.
So this could be a very similar situation right now with Aaron Rodgers because he's getting treatment for swelling on the knee, a bad ankle, and a hamstring injury.
Well, we talked about it the other day. I mean, a couple weeks ago when he looked like he was, he looked like he was getting hit hard.
Yeah, they're not going to sit him. He's not going to bench himself.
No, he's not. He's not.
So this could be like a Brett Favre thing where he just played injured and it didn't look good and it didn't go well. But that's a whole nother topic and story as we go.
Yeah, we got to watch that a few more weeks and see what we see. You know what we should do, Dave? We should definitely keep a real close eye on him, on just watching how he moves more. So even after the ball, if you can, I'm just very curious to see how he's moving after he throws the ball. And obviously, if they're going to adjust the play calling more so to get the ball out of his hands quicker, because I don't want him to get hit anymore.
And listen, I mean, I've said this before. I hope Rodgers is healthy and plays well. But would we be devastated if he went down with a season-ending injury the way he's been playing so far? I mean, how much worse can it be if you put in Tyrod Taylor at this point?
I had this talk with my son, Zach, this afternoon. He was saying we should probably, that might be the best thing. I said, no, you put all your eggs in it. You know what? When you put all your eggs, I disagree with you, Dave. We don't see eye to eye in this one thing. We put all our eggs for 2 years in this Aaron Rodgers basket. You know what? Let's watch that basket burst. I don't want to just, see him. I want to see him just fall on his face or do great. I don't want to see him get injured and pull out. And then you have that always to talk about, well, he got hurt. Let's just see him either sink or swim.
Yeah, I'm thinking like let's wait for the wheels to fall off. I'm thinking that scenario, with a broken car and whatever.
Well, the line got banged up some more, right? Elijah Vera Tucker's not playing, right? Is he still hurt? I didn't look at.
He's banged up. I don't know what his status is. I'm not really sure about that. Here's something that was very interesting in the press conference. I believe that took place today. Davante Adams made a speech that Aaron Rodgers says he hasn't heard such a great speech in the past 20 years after the loss to the Steelers about the team being flat and motivating the team, lack of effort, and so forth and so on. Obviously, my thing is, what are the coaches doing about this? This should be a coach.
I mean, that's what we always talked about. Solid. The team in the past, to me, has never looked prepared. The penalties they would take and how they came out, they didn't look prepared. And
because there's no fear. There's no fear. Nobody yells at them. They're not they're afraid to be benched. And this is the mentality. And Davante Adams noticed it right away, one game into it. And
he was here for a cup of coffee. And he's here for a cup of coffee. He already knows that. He already sees this. I mean, that's telling in itself.
Yeah, I mean, he went off. He goes, I know I just got here, but I'm not one to just sit back and watch this happen. He saw it. He addressed it. He gave a fiery speech. And that tells a lot about somebody coming to this team and seeing something.
And seeing something that you shouldn't see on a professional football team.
Yeah. If you get a chance, just go on and I subscribe to the Jets and you'll see all the press conferences.
I want to do that. I want to see that because
it was very, very, very interesting. Aaron Rodgers spoke about it, and Davante Adams also spoke about. He didn't say exactly what he said, but what he was saying is basically like, this is something the coaches should have been aware of and addressed since game one. So that's also interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how they respond to this. I mean, I wonder if also, I wonder if some of the players are saying, who the hell is he to say this? He's just been here for a short period of time. Or if they're going to say, something, he's right. There's something wrong with this culture here.
Aaron Rodgers actually addressed that same question you asked. And he said that Davante Adams started off the speech saying, I know I've only been here for 5 minutes. So he acknowledged that, but his professionalism and him being on several different teams, he felt he was going to just speak and fire these guys up and tell them what he sees going on. And it was very, very telling, what he had to say in his press conference, Davante Adams. And, we can all see it in their play. We can all see it in Salah's speeches, post-game conferences in the past. I'm not going to, yell at the guy. He knows he did wrong already, that kind of deal. So we'll see what happens, with that going forward. But that was an interesting telltale sign of the Jets organization and how they're being coached and their attitude.
How this swirl of mediocrity around this franchise for too long.
Yeah. So now listen, I got this here. I took a screenshot. I saw this last night with the remaining schedule. Uh,
I'll pull
so
up the
now,
schedule.
once we get past the Patriots, we have a short turnaround, which is really really good because we're playing the Texans, and I like that idea because I hate to say it, I'm assuming we're going to beat the Patriots, and I'm assuming we're going to look good beating the
I don't
Patriots.
assume anything, Dave. This team
I,
surprises you. I don't. That's not.
I, thinking it's going to be a turnaround season, I'm assuming we're going to really handle the Patriots
I
again.
always think, playing on the road, anything can happen.
I know division games always a
Any
little bit
given
tougher.
Sunday, something can happen, right?
You know. But then we have the Texans on a short turnaround, which is good because I want to see how they perform. I guess win or lose, but even if they win against the Texans, and then we have the Cardinals and the Colts. Listen, I know all the games could be tough, but I mean, I'm talking like if we're going to be in the playoffs and win a playoff game, these are not tough games. That's
Agreed.
my personal opinion. After the Texans on Halloween, 4 days later, we have the Cardinals, the Colts, and then a bye week. Then we have, not that these games are super easy, but if you're a playoff team, you
should
have
win
the
these games.
Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Rams. I'm not afraid of the Bills so much, even though, and
I'm
the
not afraid of
Dolphins.
the Bills. The Bills are not. The Bills don't look like they're the
Yeah,
typical Bills of last
if,
year's
if you
past.
have a good team, I don't know if
They
the
don't
Bills
scam me. If I was a good team, the Bills would not scam me. Agreed.
right, and then so we have the Dolphins 2 times, probably with Tua playing again, which is a big difference, whatever. But
Yep.
I mean, like I says, not only do we have to win a lot of these games, but even in the losses, we have to show that we're a capable team and we lost by a field goal or we lost by a turnover or a last minute drive. The Jets are not doing that now. They are so far removed from even being an above 500 team. That's what scares me right now.
Okay, same here. It's like it reminds me almost a little bit of. I hate to make them, references with all the sports, but they got all these Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers. It reminds me of the Nets a couple years ago when they went all
Yeah,
in
yeah.
with Garnett, Kyrie
Uh-huh.
Irving, and James
Mhm.
Harden, and it blew up. It looked great for a little bit of time, and it blew up. But they had to dismantle the entire franchise, and it set them back for years. So it's scary.
This has
But
never happened in my lifetime, and we can both agree. We've always talked about the Jets saying, well, we have no quarterback. We have no wide receiver. We have no running back. Our defense sucks. We have
all
everything
those
now,
pieces.
and everything sucks. Even the special teams, everything. I mean, this is like a curse. I mean, this is just unbelievable that all this collective talent
Can't
cannot
gel together and
perform.
play together, play a cohesive 60 minutes.
It's bizarre. So, I mean, that being said, I mean, listen, going forward, if, the question is going to be first of all, will the Jets be above 500? Okay. They are currently 2-5. We have Patriots, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, bye week. Seahawks, Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams, Bills, Dolphins. We have 10 games left. Okay. And the question is going to be out of those 10 games, uh, what do you think the record is going to be with those 10 games? I mean, let me just say, because I'm looking at this, I'm cheating a little bit here, and there's a couple of division games. If they play 10 games and they go 8-2, right? And then you go 2-5, and then you have 7, and then you have 10-7 can definitely get them into the playoffs.
10-7 could get them done, but I'm gonna say right now is that what I'm seeing out there. I'm saying if they're if they finish those last 10 games 5-5, I'd be mildly surprised the way they're playing.
All right, so that being said, we have updated our final prediction. Well, I have at least to maybe 10-7, probably getting to the playoffs, wild card, because a lot of teams, a lot of parity. There's teams with losing all the time. But I watch these other teams play football, especially the Baltimore Ravens and the Chiefs and teams like that. We're not even close to that.
We're not even the same. We're not even the same conversation as the Chiefs.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
I'm saying 7-10, Dave. Right now, I could tweak that next week or the week after. I'm gonna say right now that I don't see them. I can see them finishing 5, which is an improvement from what they've been playing. If they finish 500 those last 10, but I see them 7-10 right now.
All right. So you see 7-10. I see 10-7. And like I still feel like whatever happens this week, especially if they win, that's not any kind of an indication of what I think's gonna happen the rest of the season.
Yeah, not
I need
against
to
a team
I
like
need
the
to see them
Patriots.
beat the
No.
Texans the following week, and not just listen. We don't. I mean, I know we want to see wins, but I don't want to see wins, lucky wins and whatnot.
You
I
want to
just
see a
need to see
convincing win from
right,
from opening whistle to the
right,
final to the closing whistle.
right. So, all right. So we'll see what happens. If anybody wants to chime in and leave comments and see what they think's going to happen for the Jets for the rest of the season, this should be interesting. And like I said, hopefully we'll get to do something after this game and before the Halloween game. We'll see what our schedule's like. But thanks a
And
lot, Ed.
one last thing, Dave.
Yes.
I really hope. I would never think I was going to be saying this when we were talking, week one, but that the Yankee season might be on. The Jet season might be on before the Yankee season.
This is true. I mean, that we're at the point now where we're starting to count down the losses to the end of the season. And then, of course, we all know it's good. Yeah, we know what's going to happen. We're going to
lose
be
that
right
game
back
on.
where we started from.
They could technically lose 2 games while the Yankees is still in the World Series, and that could get ugly if they lose those 2 games to Houston and the Patriots. It'd be ugly.
Yep. All right, Ed. Thanks for joining me, and
Thanks for having me, Dave.
until next time.
Yes.
All right, you got it. Take care.
Talk to you soon, Dave.